Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
Local, state, and federal authorities are looking into a fire that was intentionally started at a middle school in Mission. Mission Volunteer Fire and Rescue says firefighters were called to Todd County Middle School just before 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. Crews arriving on scene found smoke coming from an outside entrance to the school's multi-purpose room.
Officials say the fire was in a bathroom between the multi-purpose room and gym. A school employee was hurt putting out the fire. They were taken to the hospital. The ATF, South Dakota's Fire Marshal's Office, and Rosebud Sioux Tribal Law Enforcement are investigating the fire. School resource officers responded to 2 reports of kids who overdosed at a Sioux Falls high school Monday. Both incidents happened at Roosevelt, and both of the kids survived.
Police say there was no connection between the 2 cases. They're investigating but can't release much information because the overdoses both involved juveniles. One thing authorities do want to emphasize is that the incidents did not involve brownies, which have been circulating on social media. KELOLAND News also reached out to the school district for an interview, and a spokesperson directed us to police. A trial date is set for a former Sioux Falls police officer accused of simple assault while on the job. 32-year-old Joseph Larson's attorney entered a not guilty plea Tuesday.
Larson is accused of assaulting a black man during an arrest outside of Wiley's Tavern last summer. Court papers say Larson struggled to put a seatbelt on the man and hit him in the groin multiple times. Larson is scheduled to go on trial in April.
Now let's send it over to meteorologist Scott Munn for a check of this morning's weather. A cold day on Groundhog's Day, Scott.
Well, that it is, and it looks like the cold will probably stick with us for, well, at least tomorrow, and then numbers will slowly warm as we get into this weekend. Saturday is looking mild. We may have a couple of areas return to the 50s, but it's a cold start for your Wednesday. We are looking at wind chill numbers in the minus teens, minus 20s, and minus 30s, and the actual air temperature not doing much better. These numbers coming in below zero, and our forecast for today is for a cold day. Temperatures in the single digits and teens for afternoon highs, and Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Human trafficking is a form of modern-day slavery. The crime occurs when a trafficker forces another person to perform sex acts or solicits labor or services against his/her will. On Monday, a federal judge sentenced a Sioux Falls woman to more than 17 years behind bars for the crime.
Melanie Hollingsworth admitted she'd helped organize sexual encounters between a teenage victim and 2 adult men for money. She also faces state charges and is scheduled to go on trial later this year. 3 bills in this year's legislative session aim to better combat the problem.
The more we become aware of what human trafficking looks like, the more ability we have to combat it, to prosecute these cases, but also help victims out of those situations.
The House Judiciary Committee will take up the 3 bills next week. A bill that triggered protests in many South Dakota communities is headed to the governor's desk. Tuesday afternoon, the House voted 50-17 to ban transgender women and girls from playing on sports teams that match their gender identity.
An amendment was proposed to the bill last week, but was dropped yesterday. Governor Noem is the one who filed the bill. Last week, she said she would sign it. Another state lawmaker wants to be the next leader of South Dakota.
On Tuesday, House Minority Leader Jamie Smith announced he's running for governor. The Democrat says if he's elected to office, South Dakota will come first.
If you elect me as governor, I will follow the will of the people to make recreational marijuana a reality and to keep your taxes low. I do not and will not support a state income tax.
Smith also said he'll work in partnership with tribes in South Dakota.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather today. Well, these cold hourly numbers reflected in your forecast. In fact, it looks like all day long here, wind chills will remain cold enough for wind chill advisories for Watertown. Aberdeen, too, not much better. Notice, too, there's a little snow in the air on Futurecast for far western South Dakota. With these single-digit temperatures, too, the air is very dry, so any snow that falls is going to be really light and fluffy in nature. But just enough to acknowledge that. Sioux Falls tonight, we're going to forecast 9 below zero, but take a look at Sisseton. It could be at least 20, maybe as much as 30 below zero near Sisseton, and then north on I-29 up toward Fargo. There's some really cold air. The depth of the snow making a big difference. Tomorrow, though, we begin the turnaround. We're going to hit 30 or better a little bit there in Rapid tomorrow. I do think Sioux Falls area pretty close to today, but the difference will be some more sunshine tomorrow. Take a look at what's coming our direction. 6 to 10 day forecast. You better remember this, much above normal, and that is smack dab in the middle of KELOLAND. Look at folks to the south. Gulf Coast, below normal. So we're probably going to have, I would say, pretty fair weather compared to a lot of folks here when you look at the country as a whole. 8 degrees today, Rapid City. 11, Sioux Falls. 3 above in Worthington. Tonight, lows, well, 8 below in Huron, 16 below Brookings and Marshall. There are those 20s below zero, Sisseton, Ortonville. If we get light winds and clear skies, Sisseton could go a little colder than that. Tomorrow, well, about 7 in Brookings, Sioux Falls at 12. 20s, 30s, West River, and then that is the push of mild air coming our direction. Now, Friday, a little better at 26 in Sioux Falls, and then 48 by Saturday. A little step backwards Sunday, 29, but then back on track to those 40s, maybe 50s next week. We're evaluating that, but I think it's a real possibility to see a lot more of that. So keep watching that extended forecast. Notice, too, it is dry for the vast majority of KELOLAND most of the next 7 days. 50-degree weather Monday, Tuesday in Pierre already on the table. Rapid City, we're also expecting widespread 50s early next week. Check out the latest details. We've got a weather update for you right now at KELOLAND.com. Stay warm and have a great day.